Hi, in this short video I'm going to give you an overview of a new mobile application that AssociCom is developing for release later this summer. Many of you probably are aware that AssociCom develops private online communities for associations. But one of the things that we've been observing is that associations have a strong sense of community around their conferences and events. But this strong sense of community is not easily leveraged outside of those events itself. So this mobile application is our attempt to bridge the gap between the community that's present at conferences and events and the community that you can have in a private online community 365 days a year. So I'm going to come in and describe some of the features of this new application that we're developing. Just to remind you, this is not the actual application itself. It's a very lightweight prototype that we've developed to help demonstrate what the real application will look like when we release it later this summer. So we wanted to start off and create an application that would be useful to users who are actually at the conference in real time. And so one of the best ways of doing that, we thought, was to make sure that the application incorporated essentially a digital program guide. And so that's what we get here on the home screen of the application by selecting My Schedule. So as an individual user, I can come in and I can see all of the sessions that I'm registered for this event. If I'd like, I can actually change whether I'm interested in one of those events by selecting that. Or I have the opportunity to see all of the sessions that are going on at this particular thing, and I can come in and indicate that I would like to attend one of those sessions. So now I've gone back to My Schedule, and I'm going to actually drill down and look at some of the information associated with each one of the sessions. So if I click on this session, I can see that there is an image here in the real application. This would probably be an image of the presenter, although it could be a logo or any other type of graphic image that was appropriate. There's a short description of what the event is, of who is presenting it, and the date and time on which the event is being presented. So here we have the core part of a digital program guide for each and every user who's attending the conference. Now, in terms of bridging the gap between the live in-person experience and an ongoing live experience, that's where we start to come in with some of the controls that we see down at the bottom of the screen here. Here we have the check-in button. This would be used by the user in order to indicate that they were actually attending the session. This information is then available in several other places inside the application. The like button allows a user to indicate that they're enjoying the presentation, that it's something that they think has a lot of quality associated with it. And then down here at the bottom we have some even more interesting parts where we really start to move into the online community aspects of stuff. So the People button gives me information about the users who have either indicated that they're going to or who are actually checked in to that particular session. So if I select that, you'll notice what we're listing is the people who've indicated that they're going. And for each one of those individuals, I can then drill down and get further information. So here we're pulling back profile information from the underlying online community in order to provide more information about the people who are attending the conference. So again, we have profile images, short profile information, and some profile fields that are pulled back again from the profile and are customized on a per site basis. When we look at this, we can then see that we can send a message to this individual. So this provides a direct messaging capability. And when we go back to the home page, I'll show you where you look at the messages that you've received. Further, we can look at the other sessions that this user is attending or the other ones that they've checked into. So we're able to find out a lot more about the people who are participating in this particular event. Now if I go back, I also have a checked in tab, and very similarly that gives me a list of users who have actually checked into this particular session. Now coming back to the session screen itself, the other aspect of this where we're creating more of an online ongoing community is through the discussion tab. So here I have a discussion that is associated with this particular session. Now what's nice about this discussion is that it can be used before the conference to talk about aspects of the session prior to that. So you could even have your session speakers involved in these discussions. It can be used during the conference to provide ongoing feedback about a particular session, and it can be used after the conference to have follow-up again, more discussion about perhaps details that there wasn't enough time to cover in the session. All of this discussion, again, is being archived, made available through an underlying online private community. And you could visit that community either through this mobile app or through AssociCom's normal web-based interface. Another interesting aspect of the discussions here is that we are echoing information back and forth between Twitter and between an underlying AssociCom discussion. So each session can be optionally associated with a hashtag. And when users come into this application and post a comment through the mobile application user interface, if they have enabled this feature, those comments will also be posted out to Twitter under their Twitter account. Similarly, any content appearing in Twitter under that hashtag will appear here in the conference. And you can see an example of that down here at the bottom where we've got the Conference 2012 Session 1 hashtag, and so this information has been brought in from Twitter. I'm going to go back to the home page now and talk briefly about some of these other elements. Roundtables is the notion of informal get-togethers with groups of people, so it uses the same sort of layout as the sessions that we've been looking at, but is oriented more towards ad hoc gatherings, and so it provides a little bit of tools to help people coordinate times and places. What's hot is basically a list of stuff that's interesting at the conference. So sessions that have received a lot of likes, vendors or exhibitors that have received a lot of votes or check-ins or that type of thing. So this is a quick way of finding out what people are finding most interesting at the conference. And if you remember, shortly ago I showed you that I had this ability to send a message to a conference participant directly, and this is where you would receive your messages that had been sent in that fashion. So if I come in here, I have a series of messages that I can look at. Once again, this is really being built on the underlying facilities of an AssociCom private online community, and so you can get to your messages not only on your phone here, but also through the standard web-based interface that AssociCom provides for messaging. There's one more thing that I would like to point out in this short video about the value of this particular application, and that has to do with support for vendors. So we have this operation of checking in, which I mentioned was this ability to say, yes, here I'm at this session. But you can also check into vendors. So if I scroll down through the list of available, essentially, events or sessions that I can check into, one of those categories is actually vendors. So I can check into a vendor. So this indicates that you're present at this vendor and perhaps even interested in talking to the representatives there. In the same way as with a session where you can vote that you like it and that sort of thing, you can also vote for a particular vendor. In the same way as with a session, there's an attached discussion stream. That's also true of the vendor. So you can have a conversation inside the mobile application that is centered around a particular vendor exhibit. Or you can look at the other people who have checked in at that vendor and find other people who are interested in it and perhaps initiate a conversation with them. As with the sessions, all of this information is being archived and made available through an underlying AssociCom private community site, and therefore the activity that's generated at the conference is available throughout the year in order to preserve that sense of community and allow people to continue networking and interacting with one another. So that concludes my quick tour of our new mobile application for conferences. If you are interested in this mobile application, please don't hesitate to follow up with us. As I mentioned before, we're in the process of developing this application right now. We are very interested in getting your feedback. If you have suggestions for additional features or would like to see features implemented in a different way, please be sure to check in with us and let us know. Thank you very much.